Hey, in this video, I'm going to be taking off the custom Origin Fabrication exhaust that's on this car, and I'm going to tell you why. Alright, so those that have watched my walk around video for this S2000, this is equipped with a custom Origin Fabrication titanium exhaust. I believe it's a header back exhaust. It has high flow cats on it. And the unique thing about this one is that typically the Origin Fabrication exhausts are just singles, but as you can see, this is a dual setup. So that's a pretty unique aspect. It's titanium, so it's fairly light. I don't know the exact weight, but I'll probably try to grab a weight when I take the exhaust off. You might be wondering, well, this is a one-off custom titanium dual exhaust. Why are you taking it off? So let's walk into it. So in all honesty, I really like the sound of this exhaust, but there's a couple of things that kind of kill it for me. One, it's really, really loud. I don't know if this is maybe just me getting older as a car enthusiast and not necessarily appreciating super loud cars. But I believe that just in general, off of like typical Honda S2000s, this car is fairly loud. If you haven't, feel free to check out the exhaust clip that I took of this exhaust. In my opinion, like I said before, I really like the tone, but the volume itself is really loud. The second thing that I'm not too keen of is that the drone on this exhaust is fairly loud as well too. I know the previous owner basically set this car up as kind of a pure track driving machine. But for me, I want it to be a little bit more of a balanced car. So something that I can enjoy on the street as well on the track. And having that really loud drone and really loud volume kind of kills the experience for me. And also, another thing is my wife does not like this exhaust. On my previous S2000, if you've watched any of the videos on that, I had the it was the Greddy Supreme SP exhaust when I first bought the car, and I changed that over to a Fujitsu Legalis R, which is known as pretty much a very OEM plus exhaust for S2000s because it still maintains the dual tip, a little bit bigger diameter, but it's very, very quiet. I actually had the stock exhaust on my car before I sold it, and it was just a little bit quieter than that Fujitsu. So anything that you've read that the Fujitsu is an OEM plus, it's pretty accurate. I'm not looking to go that quiet. Obviously, I do kind of enjoy a little bit more sound now that this car is specifically not a daily, it's just a kind of weekend toy. But I don't want something that's ear-piercingly loud. So we're gonna take this exhaust for that reason. Now before I take this exhaust off, I kind of wanted to show you underneath the car how it looks. So as you can see, because of the titanium piping, the coloring is actually really cool. So this is a tailpipe section. If you look closely, you can see the Origin Fabrication logo there. And this is actually a slip fit, I believe. So the passenger side exhaust tip comes off of there. And I believe this section is a single piece. And then we go follow it down. You can see there's another slip joint at the Y, a resonator, and then it goes all the way to the front of the car. And like I mentioned, it is equipped with a high flow cap and it mates up to the header. So overall, it's a really nice piece. I think it's really well made. Like if you look at the quality of the welds, this thing is actually really beautiful. It's a work of art, but just doesn't really suit my needs. I will say I'm gonna miss kind of the lightness of having a titanium exhaust, but to give you a little bit of insight into what I'm changing it to, I'm going to be going with a 3-inch stainless steel single system that'll hopefully give me that blend of performance, not too much weight, and have that subdued sound. So that's kind of my reasoning for this. You might have other thoughts. Having this dual tip setup is quite nice too. It does fill out the AP2 bumper which pretty nicely. I personally think single tips look a lot better on AP1 bumpers just because the AP2, it's a lot more pronounced in terms of being a dual exhaust bumper, but I think it'll still look pretty cool with a single. But yeah, so let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know if you have any guesses in terms of what exhaust I'm going to be changing to. Yeah, to give you a teaser, 3-inch, single, stainless steel, and relatively quiet. Alright, so I decided I would just take a quick clip of what the exhaust looks like off the car. So as you can see, like I mentioned before, it's got some really nice bluing. It's a little bit dusty and dirty right now, so it's not the cleanest, but it is made up in 5 different sections. So as you can see, basically each of the tailpipes, you have one muffler on each side. We have the resonator, that's kind of like our mid pipe, and then here's a section that mounts from the header all the way back, and there's a provision for the O2 bung there. So I thought this was the catted exhaust, but actually it looks like it's just resonators. And I know there's no cats on the actual header itself. It's just a normal header. It's a Jay's Racing header. So this actually was a catless system, which now explains to me why the car had that typical catless smell. But interestingly, maybe it's because of the resonators that it has, basically the single resonator in the middle and then the two mufflers. It never actually made any flames, but not to disappoint or anything like that. But yeah, pretty cool. If we look at the exhaust itself, so the resonator and the mufflers themselves, they're actually straight throughs. You can't tell quite a bit here because it's a curve, but yeah, it's a straight through exhaust. I believe this is 3-inch piping, and you can see it mates to kind of a factory style header, which I believe all of them actually choke down a little bit. So you can actually see here, there's a bit of a taper. So I think that's a 2.5 inch, and then it goes up to a full 3-inch exhaust. And now out of curiosity, I'm gonna weigh this guy and see how much it comes in at. So I knew titanium was light, but wow, I didn't know it'd be this light. So like I mentioned before, this is a resonated system. There's no cats or anything like that, and this is a header back, so it does basically incorporate a test pipe. Essentially, basically that's at the beginning of the mid-pipe section. That's where a catalytic converter would normally be. But yeah, so I just roughly weighed this guy on the scale, kind of minusing my weight, and this comes in at around 13 pounds, which is pretty crazy because I think most single exit exhausts that are 3-inch for the S2000 that are stainless steel, they usually weigh around kind of that mid 25, like mid 20s ish. So this is incredibly light. Obviously, am I sad about losing a bit of weight savings with this exhaust? Yeah, I think I am. 13 pounds, although I guess that's just more incentive for me to get back into shape and lose some weight to make up for that difference. But yeah, pretty crazy. I didn't know titanium exhaust would be that much lighter. I know you've seen a lot of photos where, you know, guys pick it up with one hand, etc. But to actually see it in person and feel the difference is pretty wild. But yeah, so figured I would just show you that about this Origin Fabrication titanium exhaust. See you on the next S2000 video, where I'll be showing the new exhaust.